All right, I have a lot of thoughts about this game from this week 14, game 13, but I have a lot of thoughts about it, so we're just gonna honestly just get right into it. Cowboys win 27-20 over Washington. I mean, a good hard-fought game. Defense played really well, but still questions on the offense. Still questions about Dak, which have been um, things that have come up the last couple of weeks, which personally I haven't really talked about. I talked about it a little bit, but not that much because I just didn't think it was that much of a concern. But right now, I don't think it's a concern, but it's definitely rising to that level. So it's something to monitor. And I think that this week against the Giants is going to be another test. A worse team than Washington for sure. Still on the road, still in a division game, tough game. Still, no matter what the Giants are, it's still going to be a tough game no matter what. As we saw in this one. So it's going to be a test, and we'll see. I mean, I'll be at that game personally, so I'll actually be able to witness everything in person and see it live action. So that would be cool to see, not just from the TV. Obviously, you get more when you're there. So I'll see how it is, but I'm expecting a big day from him, to be honest. He usually kills the Giants always, and it would be good to see a good performance from him because it just gives you back faith into him, which I'm not gonna ever really lose faith in him. But if it continues for this week and maybe even next week, then there's just more questions to be asked at that point. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But like I said, I'm expecting a good performance from him for this upcoming week against the Giants. But we're focused on what happened last week, last Sunday against Washington. Again, division game. This was a game where if we were to lose, then we would be 8-5, and Washington would be 7-6. So obviously that's a one game difference, and it's really a half game difference because they would have the tiebreaker. We play them again after the Giants week, but they would have the tiebreaker, and they'd be technically be like half the game out of first place, which you wouldn't really have thought when we were 6-1 at one point. That we'd be technically have a half game lead over Washington. A team that really struggled in the beginning because their defense wasn't playing the way it was last year. Then they lose Chase Young as well, and they've lost a couple other pieces too. But their defense has gotten better since then. It's not the level that they were last year, but it's a better defense, even with the injuries that they've had. For this game in particular, they had a couple COVID issues, which definitely helped because they're probably their second best pass rusher behind Chase Young. Montez Sweat didn't play in this game because of COVID protocols. He was supposed to come back from injury, but I think he may have practiced once or twice during the week, and then he got COVID or was at least in the protocols or whatever. So that definitely helped for sure because our offense couldn't do anything against them anyways, and now you add him in that mix as well. It probably is even worse for us, but they were dealing with some stuff. We basically were healthy the whole way through. I can't exactly remember someone not playing. I guess Tony Pollard didn't play in this game. That was the biggest one. Actually, for him, it's he has a torn plantar fasciata, whatever it's called. It's the in your foot. People have had it before. If you remember, Peyton Manning had it in his last year, like when he came back for the Super Bowl. That's when he had that. People have had it before, and they say before it tears, you could play through it. But once it tears, which his did, it's a lot harder to play through, which is why he didn't play this week. I'm assuming he's not playing against the Giants. They said he could have played this game if he really had to, but obviously he didn't. I would assume they probably give him another week or two off. No surgery, just let it try and heal. But we'll see when he comes back, when he does come back, whenever it is. We'll see how he looks because he was really turning it on. Zeke has obviously had the knee injury and just hasn't been playing as well. And you get Pollard playing like that, he gets the more snaps, and you just feel more confident right now with him out there, to be honest. You expect big runs, you expect holes to open up when he's out there. It's just the way it seems. And you just expect for him to get more than 4 or 5 yards a carry. So it was a big hit. I guess it didn't really matter in this one because we still won, but we need him healthy going forward. For the playoffs, we need him healthy. If we don't have Pollard for the playoffs, I just don't see our running game doing anything. I mean, even with him in there, it's really not doing that well. So if he's not in there and Zeke is still somewhat banged up, even if Zeke's healthy, I mean, he's not the top 5 back he once was. He's maybe a top 10 back right now. So um, it's just the running game. You need the running game in the playoffs, no matter what team you are. If you're the Chiefs, if you're the Chargers, if you're whatever team that relies heavily on the pass, you need your running game there. The Bucks from last year, I mean, obviously they're all about passing, but when it really came down to it, the running game was the thing that really helped them last year because it just opens up so many lanes. You can go play action, you can do fakes, you can just throw it deep. If you get a good run on first down, you can take a shot on second down, knowing that maybe you're third and three, third and four. That's obviously very manageable. If you get a 2 yard run on first down, then you may run it again on second down. You may get 2 more yards on your third and six, or you have to throw it from second and eight. And if that's an incomplete pass, and you're looking at a third and eight, which is obviously much tougher to convert than a third and three or a third and four. So the running game plays a huge effect, and it really, I think that's somewhat of the factor or what's playing into Dak's poor playing is that we just haven't had a consistent run game right now. And again, like I said, it just opens up so many lanes for other plays. And Dak's so good in the play action that when you can't fake people with the play action, you can't use that against other defenses because they know that they can stop the run. Then it's just hard to use. It's hard for him to play to his full expectation because again, the play action is such a huge part of what he does. You do we won a game on a play action with the CD Lamb and the Patriots game, and again, that was the calf injury when that happened, and maybe that's still affecting him, which I would say it probably is because he did tear his calf. And as we saw with Michael Gallup was out, 7 weeks, basically 2 months, and Dak, missed 2 weeks. So clearly there's somewhat of a factor there. I guess at this point, I think it's been just under 2 months since that injury. So maybe he can get back to where he was playing before then in these next couple of weeks. We'll see. But again, he's going to be playing in colder conditions, which obviously I would assume wouldn't help a torn calf trying to heal. And again, you're the quarterback of the team. You have the ball every single snap, whatever it is. So we'll see. But yeah, and one other injury that happened in this game, and he's already ruled out for this week against the Giants. Tyron Smith, he got rolled up on. That's almost always going to be the case with offensive linemen. But with him, it was huge. We just get him back. Now he gets rolled up on. He was already ruled out for the Giants game on Monday, so clearly there was no chance he was going to play. Even though he did walk off the field and he was standing on the sideline, which is obviously a good sign. It's not like he had to be carted off or anything. But yeah, I mean, again, expect him out for this game and probably maybe even the next game, which is Washington as well. So we'll see. Maybe he comes back for that game. And again, Washington should have Montez Sweat back for that game. They should have guys back from the COVID list that they had, even just guys who were injured for that game back. So that's gonna be a different Washington team that we play in, about a week and a half from when I'm recording this, to the team that we just played in this previous game. So we're probably gonna need Smith back, but again, we could put Steele at left tackle. He's way better at right tackle, but you can't really move Lael because he really just can't play left tackle while Steele can, even though he's not as good there. So I would assume Steele plays left tackle. I know tying like Neshi or Niseki, whatever you exactly say his last name. He's our backup left tackle, but I would probably rather have Steele there, but I don't know what they're going to do with it. But that could be somewhat of a just something to monitor going forward. And Smith's health has always been something the last couple of years. So hopefully he's just healthy and good and back and ready. And this isn't too serious. It's just he's just out for this week. But it could be back for Washington. But that's kind of the injuries and before this, for the game, after the game kind of stuff. But diving right into the game, it started off pretty decent. We get the ball first. That was they deferred Washington, so we get the ball, 12 play drive. That's a good drive. Get a field goal out of it. Obviously, you want a touchdown, especially opening drive. You always want a touchdown, especially with a 12 play drive though as well. Not bad. Just moving the ball down the field though. Get a 15-yard pass to Zeke actually. Again, he didn't have a great game in this one. Again, the knee injury was for sure bothering him. And again, the offense didn't play well, even though they didn't start off terrible. But and again, that's evidence on this drive. But get all the way down to the red zone and 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line. We get incomplete. We get no gain on a rushing attempt. Then we get a sack. It was only for 0 yards, but still obviously a negative play. And then just a 3-yard pass. And there's something I'm going to talk about later, where at some point that is just bothering me very much about this offense. But I'll get to that. But we get a 3-yard pass on 3rd and 10. So we got a kick field goal, but at least we're getting points. I'm happy we're getting points there. At least again, before this game started, you got to come out to an early lead. The way to beat Washington was to get to an early lead because the one thing that Washington likes to do is get out to a lead or at least be tied to the point where they can keep running the ball. Their best offense is when they're running the ball, and then it opens up their passing lanes for a quarterback who obviously isn't that good, but if you give him open space and free time, he can at least find holes and he can use his legs as well. So their big thing is the running game with Antonio Gibson. He had a terrible day in this one. He fumbled later on in this game, and he also just didn't do much. I think his biggest run came like in the third quarter, maybe even fourth quarter, when things were starting to open up for them, and it was like a 10-yard run. So he didn't really do much in this game. We really shut him down, which is good to see that we can stop the run like that, especially a team that you know they're going to run the ball and they want to run the ball, and you could still stop them. That's really good to see. Um, and that had to do a lot with the additions that we got back on defense, which I'll touch on because all of them made an impact in this one. But yeah, it was good to see that knowing the game plan going in, we knew it and we were able to come up with a scheme to stop that. So that was really good to see. But we get that field goal, like I said, opening field goal. They come down. They basically went 3 and out. I think they did pick up a first down, but the first play of the game they got a 14-yard pass. But after that, at least for the first half and really the game, but for sure the first half, they did not complete that many balls. I think at one point Heineke was 2 for 12. I want to say he was. So and again, it started off 1 for 1. So he didn't do much. Our defense was really playing well, defending balls, having guys covered, pressure on the quarterback, making him force throws that he wouldn't want to do otherwise. So just really good defense, a really good game from our defense in this one. So we get that. But when we come down, and again, this is where Dak seems weird. And this happened in the New Orleans game. I think it was the New Orleans game, the Kansas City game, I want to say, where he tried to force a ball. This one was to CeeDee Lamb. I know in New Orleans he tried to force one to CD, but again, we talked about it. He got hit in the head. Dak, it should have been a penalty. Should he have thrown the ball in the first place? No, but it should have been a penalty, in the first place. But this one, he tries to fit it into CD. Now he has a linebacker in his way and he's a safety over the top, and he tries to fit it into a window where there's maybe a couple quarterbacks who can make that throw. Probably Rodgers, Mahomes, Brady, who could make that throw in the league right now. So, and even then, they probably couldn't even make that throw. It was a really tough throw. He just didn't need to do it. He could have ran the ball, which again, that's something that he just hasn't done from the injury last year, but more so with the calf injury this year, which again, I think is still bothering him a little bit. He just doesn't run the ball, at all, which again, he used to be able to at least scramble and give you some yards, get you 5, 6, 7 yards, and sometimes he could get you a first down and more, or even like in a read option like that. That used to be somewhat of a factor on this offense, a little bit, a couple plays here and there where you do a read option, and then it's going to be almost wide open for Dak every single time. But again, that doesn't happen anymore. But tries to fit one into CD. It was just impossible in my opinion. Misses him high, gets picked. That wasn't good to see. Especially, your defense gets such a convincing stop on their first possession. You're looking to get points again. And then that happens, and it was in your territory. I mean, they get the ball at our 37-yard line, but our defense comes up huge. Again, it was the story of the game. Our defense. They get a no-yard gain on first down for a rush. Again, that was a huge part. Incomplete pass, and they try to go a screen left side. It's probably open if it does get complete. Now, is it a touchdown? I don't know. Maybe, obviously, you have to look at it, but it's at least positive yards for sure. Probably a first down. They had blockers out there. They had us. They definitely had us. We had like 4 guys at Heineke. He was obviously the offensive lineman let you go out wide to block, and they definitely had more numbers than we did on the outside for sure. But Randy Gregory comes back in this game from the calf injury the calf injury, whatever the exact injury was, lower leg injury. It just makes an incredible play. Gets tipped actually before it reaches him, but it was still basically a perfect pass, honestly. He was just tipped a little bit, but he deflects it up in the air. He's getting spun around because someone was trying to, chop block him. And he jumps up in the air, spinning around, tips it with his left hand, does a full 360, catches the ball on the way down, even returns it for some yards as well. I think 12 yards, yeah. So a huge play. Like I said, if it doesn't get tipped, if he doesn't do that, they're at least getting a first down, which puts them in for sure guaranteed field goal range. And then obviously they're looking for a touchdown. Now at this point, with the interception, even if it was just deflected and they don't catch it, they're still punting. Maybe they're attempting a field goal, but they're probably punting. They're at a 37-yard line. That's a tough field goal, but potentially. But if anything, if they punt, then they're pinning us deep. Obviously, the field position, they win on that battle, then who knows? Maybe the field position battle really does matter and play way more into their hands. So it's a huge interception right there. And again, that's like if he's healthy this entire year, he's a Pro Bowler. I just don't see how he wouldn't be. I don't exactly have his numbers sack wise. I can try and pull him up while I'm talking, but he's just been great on the defensive line, especially with no Lawrence. Basically the entire year except for I guess now 3 games, but before it was really 1 game, the opener. Gregory's just been amazing. His presence on the defensive line has been huge, along with Micah, who I'll get into. Again, another stellar performance from him. But Gregory on the season, he has 6 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, an interception, and again, he's only played exactly in trying to find the exact number here, but 8 games. He's only played in 8 games. So obviously they played 13. So he's missed 5 games and he has those numbers. And again, if he played in those 5 games when he was rolling before he got that injury, he's for sure getting a couple more. He's probably near 10 sacks, to be honest. He's probably at 8, 9, maybe 10. A couple more tackles. He's just a huge presence on the defensive line. He's just been great. So it's great to have him back. And obviously Lawrence, he had a great game again today, as long as he did in his return against the Saints last week. He had another great game in this one, but just a huge play from Gregory right there. And then it turns into a touchdown for us. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see. You want to see turnovers turn into points, not just field goals, but touchdowns. And that's what happened. We get a lot of penalties. Again, there was a lot of penalties on this drive right here, but we do get the ball down the field. We get down to their 7-yard line. Great route from, not even great route from Mari, just a great scheme from Kellen Moore. This was one of the better schemes that he had all day, where you have Schultz off the line on the right side with Cooper in the slot, and it's Schultz goes up and out to the corner, and Cooper just follows his route. He kind of just goes straight, and as soon as Schultz cuts to the outside, Cooper cuts to the inside, and it's based on communication on the defense. You're hoping that the defense is confused and will fail in their communication with each other, and it's going to leave someone wide open. Mari wide open right in the middle of the field. On the TV, it honestly looked like it was about to get picked because the way the angle was, because it looked like I think it was a linebacker, I'm pretty sure, maybe even a nickel corner. It just looked like he was right there. But when you look at it from behind the line of scrimmage, it was wide open. It wasn't even a question. So that was good to see. Really good, again, really good play call right there. You're forcing them to make the mistake. And again, most of the time the mistake happens, and that's exactly what happened in this one. So good touchdown there. We actually go for 2 because they got a penalty. And Zeke went right up the middle. So that was good. 11-0. Always love to get an extra point there. And it also forces them to go for 2 at some point down the line, which again, you always have a chance to stop a 2-point conversion. You don't really have a chance to block it. It's not. I feel like it's more likely to stop a 2-point conversion than it is to stop block a extra point. So even though I think we did block an extra point in this game, if I remember correctly, but yeah, most of the time it's easier to stop a 2-point conversion. But yeah, get the touchdown, 11-0. Then next drive. So obviously, they're already out of their game plan, but they're down 11-0. Even though it's early, still first quarter, they're thinking like, we got to get points here in order to stay within our game plan. Because if we don't, and let's say even if they just get a field goal, we're down 3 possessions this early, like we just have to abandon our game plan. That's what most people think. They almost always think just abandon your game plan once something goes wrong. And that was clearly the case. They were definitely moving the ball a little bit. But on this drive, they get into a 1st and 10 situation. They get a 3-yard rush, again, nothing on the ground. Incomplete pass, 5-yard pass. So they're 4th and 2 at our 46. I mean, they go for it. I think it's the right decision as well. You need points in order to win games. You can't punt and try and play field possession at this point. So they go for it. But again, here comes Micah, a huge play from him. Comes right up the middle. Again, they obviously with Lawrence and Gregory back, you don't need him on defensive end. Now you can put him there in certain plays, but you play him as a backer and then put him on blitz packages, or just have him just do what just have him be the all-around player that he is, where he can cover, he can just attack the quarterback if he wants. Even if it's on a blitz, he's just a 5th rusher. Just do whatever he wants. So that's exactly what they did on this one. I believe he was just a 5th rusher. I don't believe he was actually blitzing. But he gets the right guard, Brandon Sheriff, who was an all-pro. I think 2019 he was an All-Pro. So just completely destroys him. Just bullies him, goes right through him basically. I mean, definitely used his speed advantage, but basically went right through him. Gets Heineke. If it wasn't Parsons who got the sack, I think Lawrence was right behind him to get it as well. But gets the strip sack. So not only just a sack, but a strip sack, and then it's returned for a touchdown. So I mean, amazing. You get the fourth down stop with the sack, but then you get the fumble. Even if they recovered, they weren't going to get a first down. So it's your ball at the the 50-yard line basically. But then it turns into a strip sack fumble for a touchdown. I mean, it's just the best of every single world possible. Um, Dorrance Armstrong was the one who picked it up for a touchdown. And again, it was just a great play from a great player. That was his 11th sack of the season. He gets one more in this game, to get him to 12. It's just, I mean, just an amazing play from him, and that's exactly the way I want to use him on every single passing down that for sure that they're going to pass the ball. I want him rushing the passer. It only makes sense. I mean, he's okay in coverage. He made the play against the Saints. He almost had a pick in this one as well later on, but he's not as good in coverage as he is rushing the passer. And again, if you have Lawrence and Gregory on the field, it's impossible to stop those three guys without double. Like if you want to double one of the guys, then you're leaving too much space for the other two. And then if you want to play them all one on one and maybe try and chip them or use a running back as a double, it's just impossible. It's just one of them's going to get home, one of them's going to free a lane for someone else to get through. I think we should use safety blitzes a lot more. Jordan Lewis is really good on those blitzes on the corner. On the short side blitzes. You saw it against the Chiefs or against the Saints, even I think the Chiefs as well. But he's really good at those. So I would like to see those because again, if those three are rushing the passer, there's a guaranteed hole that's going to be open if none of them get home. So I would really like to see a corner blitz or a safety blitz off the edge, or even just through the middle of one of the gaps. I think that would really work as well. But yeah, that was just a huge play, and again, a great play from a great player. There's just really nothing else to say about that play other than that. That puts us up 18-0. I mean, at this point, even though it's only the first quarter, like if you were watching that game, it just felt over. Like it felt like we had all the confidence. Our defense, every single time our defense was on the field, it felt like a play was going to be made. Now, our offense couldn't really say the same about it, but when you're up 18-0, it's hard not to just think that your offense is at least going to be capable of moving the ball. Momentum's on your side, confidence is on your side, just everything's going your way. They get the ball back after that, and they get, Mikey gets his second sack right here. 3rd and 8. Again, it seems like he always gets sacks at huge parts of the game. The Saints game, he gets a sack on that Taysom Hill sack. That was 3rd and 2. This one, 4th down here. The second one was 3rd and 8. I feel like he's always getting 3rd down sacks, which is what you love to see. Even the Raiders game, even though he lost that, he got the huge sack right there on Carr in overtime, which obviously it didn't work out, but at the time it was a huge sack and it seemed like we were going to get the ball back. But it's just, again, a huge sack, move them back. If they get a couple yards, they're probably going for it. So, and then obviously they can extend their drive, but at this point they can't. They got a punt. They give it to us, but we go 3 and out. We actually did get a huge pass play to Michael Gallup on this one. It's a 46-yard pass play, but it gets, overturned because of a penalty. Again, that seems to always be the case whenever we get a big pass play or a big play in general. It seems to come back from a penalty. Penalties weren't too bad in this one on our side, but at the same time, that's a huge play for the offense right there. Even though it's 18-0 and I'm not really worried about the score or anything, it's a huge play for the offense to get the momentum going again. And it was a really good play. Gallup was wide open. Dak hit him, and he has to come back now. And instead of being, it was 2nd and 6 on that play. Instead of being at their, what would it have been? Their 35-yard line, 30-yard line, and you're in field goal range. Now we're backed up to our 12-yard line, 3rd and 16. And, the drive's over no matter what you do. So we have to punt. They get the ball back. They got a punt. They punt it right back to us. So again, they're doing nothing offensively. I mean, they're not even really moving the ball. But after they punt back to us, 11-play drive, 61 yards, 5 minutes off the clock. We get a field goal. Again, they want to see touchdowns there, but we get a field goal. This was actually a big Corey Clement drive. He was our backup running back in this one. He actually wasn't that bad. I thought he was actually running pretty well. He was hitting the holes. What holes were there he was hitting. And I thought he actually wasn't that bad. Now, do I really want him being our backup running back? No, but I guess for the time being, it's not the worst case scenario. But we get down to their 19-yard line. Incomplete pass to Lamb. incomplete pass to Zeke. And again, the 3rd and 5, this is where I'll talk about the 3rd downs, the thing I was mentioned earlier that I just didn't like. Seems like every 3rd down that we get into, we always come up with a play. Now, obviously the play, there's got to be some routes that go past the 1st down marker, but it seems like every single 3rd down, I don't know if it's Dak or if it's Kellen Moore. I don't know what it is, but it seems like we're always hitting the guy, whether it's Zeke in the flat or Schultz 2 yards downfield or Lamb on a screen. It seems like we're always doing a play that doesn't go beyond the sticks. It's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, whatever it is, and you're passing the ball. Have routes that go past the sticks or right at the stick. You want to do like a tight end, like a perfect Jason Witten route where it's get to the sticks, turn around, and put it on him as soon as he's turning around right at the sticks. I'm okay with that, but we seem to always run routes that are 2 yards, 3 yards short of the line of the 1st down marker, and it just makes no sense because then you need help from the guy getting the ball or the defense missing a tackle. It's just way too much in the hands of those players, other than throwing the ball 7 yards down the field for 3rd and 4, and you're guaranteed a 1st down if he catches it. So I don't understand if it's Dak just getting off his progression too quickly and moving to someone in the flat or someone that's a safer throw because maybe he's not comfortable with making a longer throw right now, which that may be a possibility because he doesn't seem to love to be throwing it deep, which he's a good deep ball thrower, and I just don't exactly know why we're not throwing it deep more. Even if it's on 40 yards down the field, why can't it be 20 yards down the field where you're getting Amari across the middle, you're getting Gallup on the sideline where they excel. That's exactly where they want the ball. It doesn't seem like we like doing that right now, which I don't know if it's the flow of the offense, if it's more and it's play calling, if it's stacked, like I said, getting off his progressions too quickly. But that's just a big gripe I have right now with the offense is that 3rd down, we don't seem to go for a big play. Again, I'm not saying go for a crazy go route down the field, but just something that isn't just a 2 yard route to the in the flat to Zeke, and I'm trusting Zeke to make 2 guys miss. I mean that's never going to work out. So I just want to see that be better. I think we should be a better 3rd down team with potentially 3 Pro Bowl wide receivers, which obviously they're not going to be. Gallup missed the time, but there are 3 Pro Bowl caliber wide receivers. Again, with Cooper being one, Lamb will be one if he's not one this year, and then Gallup has the potential to be one if he's not on a team with Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. So you have those 3 guys. You have Zeke. You have Pollard when he's healthy. You have Schultz as well, who's been very quiet the last couple of weeks, which again surprising. He seemed like a security blanket for Dak, especially on 3rd down and also in the red zone. So like to see him get going as well. But you have so many weapons that it just seems impossible that on 3rd down. Again, I don't know exactly what our 3rd down stats are on offense, but I would like to say they're probably not that good. At least the last handful of weeks, I know they're not good because the plays aren't really meant to convert 3rd downs. And even if they are, it seems like we're missing them or we have penalties. So that's the big thing we need to work on. Not for the Giants, not for Washington, but for the playoffs. Again, right now we're scheduled to play the Rams. I don't know how much I love that. I don't think the Rams are one of the best teams, but they have the firepower and the potential to be one of the best teams. And with their defense, it's not been the best defense, but it can definitely rise up to the occasion at times, as we saw against Arizona. And that was without Jalen Ramsey, by the way. It has a potential to really, do something to us because the Rams is not the matchup I want. I want the Niners, I want the Vikings, I want Washington. So anything to get outside that 4 seed, because the Rams will be the 5 seed, or it's going to be Arizona the 5 seed. Whichever one doesn't win that division is the 5 seed. And I'd like to not play those 2 teams. I'd like to play again a mixture of the Saints, the Vikings, the Niners, Washington, Philadelphia, Atlanta. One of those teams is 1,000% easier than playing the Rams / the Cardinals in the first round. So that's later, but it's something just to monitor. But like I said, we get a field goal on this drive, so we're up 21-0. They punt back to us again. They just couldn't do anything offensively. It was just crazy to watch in the first half. But I believe this was where Terry McLaurin got injured. Was it here? Maybe it wasn't here. But I think it was here where he got injured. Whatever it was, he didn't do anything in the game anyways. He had 0 catches anyways, but he got injured in this game. Again, that it mattered because obviously he's probably their best player, but yeah, it definitely helped that he wasn't there. But he wasn't doing anything anyways. But they punt. We get the ball back. Again, there's still 2 minutes left in the second quarter. And we put a good drive together. get all the way down right before the half, get a field goal, 37-yard field goal. So that was good. But probably again, you just want touchdowns. That's really all you want. You want to get touchdowns. We're not scoring points. Touchdown wise, and it's just weird, just based off the first couple of weeks of the season where it seemed like we were only scoring touchdowns, and now it's like we're fighting to get a touchdown every single game offensively. But um, can't be mad at getting just getting points in general. And again, we're up 24-0 at this point. So 24-0 going to half. My head watching this game, I mean, again, I thought the game was over in the first quarter. And the second quarter didn't change my mind at that at all. But the third quarter is where it started to flip a little, and then the fourth quarter is really where it started to change. But again, Washington gets the ball coming out of half. They did nothing with the ball. They have to punt again. They did nothing. This is where Terry got injured. It was on this drive, actually, 3rd and 5. He actually caught the ball on the play. So if you're watching the game, you would have known. But he caught the ball, but he was at least 6 feet up in the air, and he slammed right down. And he dropped it, which was huge. Because again, who knows? Maybe it was actually a deep ball. If they complete that ball, they're for sure in our territory by a decent amount. And then maybe if they get a touchdown right there coming out of half, 24-7, puts a lot of pressure on their offense to go down and get points, but really a touchdown to match. Because again, our offense is better than their offense, but they don't. We put together a 9-play drive, but it was kind of a false 9-play drive. It was only 40 yards and just didn't really do much. It wasn't anything exciting. And again, for 3rd and 5, we go incomplete pass to Amari. Just can't convert on 3rd down right now. It's just a problem, like I was saying before. So just something we got to clean up, something that's got to get better. But off that drive, they come down and get a touchdown. So this really, they got an actual real running play. They got 13 yards on the ground, 19 yards in the air, another 6-yard run, 9-yard pass, and then they get a 43-yard pass to Chris Sims. Cam Sims. This was just a great play. Diggs was in great coverage, to be honest. They tried to do a little bit of a double move on him. Didn't really work. He was stride for stride with him on the left sidelines. Diggs could have caught the ball, to be honest, but I'll blame it on him for not catching it. It was a super hard play, but he hit his hand right there. The guy, his hand was on the ball when the guy caught it. It was just a great catch, great way to stay in bounds. It was an incredible play, and just better offense compared to good defense. It was just you couldn't do anything about it, so you can't even be mad about it. They do get the 2-point conversion as well. So again, 24-8. They're at least putting pressure on us at this point. I'm still not worried. It's still a 16-point game, but they put pressure on you. And again, the offense just hasn't shown anything. So after that touchdown, what does the offense do? They do a 4-play drive that we have to punt. Now, we did waste 3 minutes off the clock, but it's not the fourth quarter. It's still the third quarter. So I don't care about what the clock looks like at this point. I just want points. And that just didn't happen. So we had to punt. They get the ball back, but then this is where Antonio Gibson fumbled. Great play by Jordan Lewis and Keanu O'Neal, but I think it was actually Lewis who was the one who actually forced it. Again, if they score on this drive, then it cuts into whether they get 3 points or 7 points or even 8 points if they go for another 2-point conversion. It just changes the game so much. But they get a little pass up the middle to Gibson. And he tries to fight through 2 defenders. And again, Jordan Lewis, I don't know if he actually punched it out or if it's just his shoulder when he was coming in for the hit, just knocked the ball loose. But a huge play right there. Gets us the ball inside their 30-yard line. But what do we do with that drive and that great field position from our defense? We get a field goal. It's just crazy to think that we can only get field goals now. And it started off with a 10-play pass. So we're at their 15-yard line, 1st and 10. This is where Tyron Smith got injured. He got rolled up on here. It was a 3-yard run, incomplete pass, then a 2-yard pass on 3rd down. So, and we even got a pass interference on CeeDee Lamb, which was declined. But it seems like Moore is maybe trying to do too many screens, which he definitely has been dialing up a lot of screens lately. I think good screens in the NFL nowadays are the tight end screens. Those seem to work every single time. Any single time you throw a tight end screen, and you could even use CeeDee Lamb there if you want. And I'll probably touch on it, but Lamb out of the backfield is what I'll just do it right now. Lamb out of the backfield should be used the way that Deebo Samuel is used. So if you don't know who Deebo Samuel is, he plays for the Niners. He's a wide receiver. He's been one of the most productive wide receivers in the NFL this year. But the way that the Niners use him, they use him as a running back. I mean, they don't even really use him as a wide receiver. His wide receiving stats, I think he's at 1,000 yards. Maybe he's just under that, but he's basically been at like 900 yards the last couple weeks. They've just been using him so much a running back that he hasn't had the receiving yards, but they use him out of the backfield. They line him up at running back, and they literally do draw plays for him or outside zones or whatever as a running back, as if he's Derrick Henry back there, or they use him in the wildcat, or they use him as screens. They just give him the ball. They give him the ball any way possible because they know that he's their best offensive player. And that's the exact way I think we should use CeeDee Lamb. Now, see our best offensive player? I would say no. I'd probably say Amari is, or even Dak, to be honest, when he's right. But Lamb should be used like that. We've used him in the backfield a little bit, and he's pretty effective when he gets the ball in the backfield as like when he's a running back running the ball. But we should use him for screens. We should use him for wildcats. We should use him for, again, running plays. Again, if Zeke isn't healthy and Pollard isn't there, then what's the reason for not using CeeDee Lamb? Because also putting him in the backfield puts another wide receiver out there. You put Cedric Wilson in the slot, where that's where he's meant to play anyways, and you could use Lamb as out of the backfield. Anything. It gives you another receiver on the field. It just opens up your playbook way more, and you see the success that San Francisco has with Deebo Samuel and how effective he is on the ground. Which CeeDee Lamb, he can be like that if you give him the ball that many times in the backfield. So I think that's something they should really consider, and I think it's something that they have been, and maybe they're putting more plays in and implementing into their offense as the weeks go by. Obviously, you don't want to just do everything out of necessity and just want to do it to do it. It has to be right, and everyone has to know the play calls and everything. But I think it's something they should really look forward to doing these last couple of weeks of the season to get ready for the playoffs. But I think it's something that he's a real weapon in the playoffs if you can use him out of the backfield, especially if Pollard isn't healthy or Zeke's not effective or you need another receiver on the field. It's so you can utilize it in so many different ways, and I think it would really benefit the team. But that was one of the other things I took away from this game, was that the need of CeeDee Lamb in the backfield, because they always try to get him the ball on screens on the outside, but isn't it easier to hand the ball off to him and have offensive linemen who are already in place blocking? It seems way easier to me. Now maybe maybe that's just me thinking, and maybe I'm thinking it's too easy when really it's a little bit more complicated. But I think it's something that they should really utilize going forward. Is CeeDee Lamb in the backfield? But again, we get a feel. Again, it's points, but it's actually going to be the last points that we score in this game, and that's with a little bit of time left in the third quarter. So just think about that. I mean, it's just crazy that we can't put up points like that. Only 3 points in the second half, and it only happened because we got the ball at their 25-yard line. So we basically, anytime that we actually had to put a drive together, we didn't score. So we basically got shut out if we didn't get the ball in their inside their 30-yard line. But after that field goal, couple punts back and forth, actually four straight possessions with punts, all 3 and outs actually. But I'm trying to see if there was a sack here. Yeah, so Lawrence gets his sack here. That was a really good sack from him. Again, 2nd and 15, so obviously that just puts them out of it. 3rd and 25, nothing's going to happen there. They have to punt, but then we get the ball back again. We keep having to punt. 4-yard pass, incomplete pass. Now 3rd and 4. Excuse me, 3rd and 4 was the incomplete pass. We actually had a 2-yard rush, and then we had the 4-yard pass to CeeDee Lamb. So again, on 3rd and 4, our pass was to Corey Clement. I remember this exact play. It was he came out of the backfield into the flat on the left side. I think Dak threw the ball to him, and I think he was 1 yard past the line of scrimmage. So you're asking Corey Clement was rather a linebacker or a corner, who was basically right there. I think he basically tackled him as he caught the ball. And I guess he didn't catch the ball. It was an incomplete pass, but he was right there. I think the guy tackled him as the ball got to him. So again, is that Dak getting off his reach too early? Is that the play call? I can't assume that's the play call to go to Corey Clement on 3rd and 4 for a 1-yard route that he was running. But I don't know. It's just something. It's something to take notice of in the coming weeks, or even just the next game, to see if that changes. If we're a little more aggressive on 3rd down, we're going down the field more and trying to get it to our playmakers rather than give it to our running backs out of the backfield. So Had to punt there, but then again, they have to punt as well. This one, Neville Gallimore gets his sack. I haven't mentioned his name yet, but he missed all the this whole season so far after playing. He was a rookie last year out of Oklahoma. Really good year last year. Was expecting big things from him this year, but he gets injured in training camp or preseason. But he's back for this week, and again, that was some of the news. Him and Gregory were supposed to be back for this week, but again, Gallimore was his season opener was this week. And he played a great game. Again, he played a lot of snaps, to be honest, for someone who hasn't played all year. He played a lot of snaps, and that's good because again, our front four with Lawrence, Gallimore, Osa slash Tristan Hill, whoever's filling that other defensive tackle spot, and then Gregory, and then obviously Micah, who's basically a fifth part of that defensive line. I mean, that's one of the best defensive lines in football, and it's not even a question. It may not be the best. I don't know who the best would be, but it's for sure top five, maybe even top three. With those three players, again, counting Micah in that, even if you don't count Micah, Lawrence and Gregory, you can't really ask for two better defensive ends than DeMarcus Lawrence and Randy Gregory, not only for their pursuit of the passer in passing situations, but especially Lawrence, his ability to play the run. DeMarcus Lawrence is one of the best run-stopping defensive ends in the league. And that's you may talk about the criticism of his sacks, which I was definitely one of those people when he signed the big contract of where are the sacks. But it's not all about sacks. It's about you drawing double teams and opening holes for other guys, pressures and hurries on the quarterback, and also playing the run, which again, Lawrence does one of the best, if not the best, out of a defensive lineman in the entire league is play the run. Especially for someone who's known for getting to the quarterback and known for sacking the quarterback. He's just so good at playing the run, which again was true in this game. They just couldn't run the ball against us when that's their DNA is to run the ball. But like I said, Gallimore gets a sack. Give me a huge to have him down the stretch for this one. Osa played great. They haven't really played him that much lately, which is a little weird, but I guess they're just rotating snaps with him and Tristan Hill. But having Gallimore back is just going to be huge. But again, they have to punt. But then we get the ball back. Another penalty. 3rd and 8. We get a 10-yard pass and actually convert it, but there's a penalty. Of course, again, like I said, on 3rd down, it seems like when we do convert, it's a penalty. And when we don't convert, it's just because we're throwing passes that are 5 yards in front of the 1st down marker. So again, just stuff to look at. But we have to punt again. Again, getting towards the end of the game, 9 minutes left. We're up 13 points. We're up 19 points. Again, I'm thinking the game's over. I'm not even really paying attention, to be honest. But the Washington puts together a 13 play, 73-yard drive in only 4 minutes to get a touchdown. So they went right down the field, get a touchdown. But even still, 5 minutes left in the game. It's a 13-point game, but we have the ball back with 5 minutes. Run the clock out, and this game's over. It's not even the game is just over on this possession right here. If we get 2 first downs or 3 first downs or whatever it is. So that's what I'm thinking. Zeke's out for the game, not injury wise, but they were, kind of just resting him the rest of the game because it was, seemed out of hand and you don't need Zeke. So we get a 4-yard rush on 1st down. And this is just the weirdest thing. I mean, 4-yard rush on 1st down. Killing the clock again, making we would, if we got a 1st down, then we'd make them use a timeout, in the coming next minute or two because they'd have to stop the clock and everything. So you're just trying to force them to use timeouts, waste clock, get this game over with as soon as possible because it's a game that you should easily win. But for some reason on 2nd down, we go play action, which I don't like it because as we saw in the Saints game, when we somehow couldn't close out that game is on 3 straight possessions, we're throwing the ball more than running the ball. In the 4th quarter of a game that we're up, we basically do the same thing here. We throw the ball, we go play action, we throw the ball, and Dak should have hit Schultz down the middle, but instead, and I feel like this maybe had to do something with the calf injury. Instead of trying to throw off his foot and land on his right calf, which obviously is the calf that he injured, he tries to stop and then do a side, not even like sidearm, but more sidearm than his normal motion. And because he had to do that, it allows, again, he had a guy in his face. I'll give him that. But at the same time, him stopping and then trying to make the throw allows the linebacker Holcomb to come from across the middle and cover Schultz. He wasn't, he wasn't right in front of Schultz. He was somewhere in the middle between Dak and Schultz, but he's in that throwing lane. And it turns out to be not only an interception, but a pick six. I mean, the change of emotion at that point was just ridiculous. I mean, we go from an easy blowout win to now a 7-point game. and this is where we actually blocked their extra point attempt. So it could have been a 6-point game, and then at that point, if they get a touchdown and we don't score, the game's over, assuming that they would make an extra point. So it almost turned into a loss if potentially somehow we went 3 and out, we had to punt, and they came down and scored a touchdown right at the end of the game. So I just don't understand the throwing there. Like we saw it against the Saints, where you try to throw it and you're stopping the clock. You're not completing passes. You're the chance of a turnover is just way bigger when you're doing that. The chance of getting sacked as well, which could have been the case in here. If Dak doesn't throw that ball, he's getting sacked. If Dak throws that ball, he should just throw it out of bounds. Just see that there's a guy in your face. I know he didn't see the linebacker because he wouldn't have thrown it if he saw him, but just throw it out of bounds. I don't care if it stops the clock because it's just the odds of you completing a pass right there is low in my opinion, even if it wasn't to get picked. And it's just I'd rather just incomplete, just be an incompletion, and live on 3rd and 6, and then you could run the ball again, and then you could punt, and then you waste a minute and 20 seconds or whatever. It's just I don't know. It's just I don't know. I don't know if it's not faith in our running game, which again at that point I don't care if you have the worst running game in the league history. I don't care if you average 20 yards a game on the ground, which is impossible. But I don't care if you do. You just run the ball there to waste time. It's just I don't know. It's just I'm like almost out of words on what we're doing offensively in that aspect. Which again I started off this by saying I'm not worried about the offense, but it's plays like this that make me just I don't like I mean I understand you don't throw the ball there. And if you want to throw it on third down. That's what I would say. Throw it on third down. Because if you're 3rd and 3, and let's say you could run it there and maybe you get the first down, maybe you don't, but you're still wasting time. But if you want to get the first down, throw it on 3rd down then. Because we're 2nd and 6 here. Let's say you run the ball again, you're probably getting 3 yards, to be honest, which isn't a lot. 3 yards is not a lot in the NFL. So you're looking at 3rd and 3, you could rather run it again or you could throw it then and do a play action. You could do play action there. You have 2 straight running plays. They're probably expecting you to run the ball. Do play action there where, they're probably selling out on the run, so guys are more open. Again, maybe that's hindsight. Maybe that's just looking back and being like, oh, it's obvious. But I feel like most people would have said to run the ball on 2nd down there and then probably to run it on 3rd down. So I think maybe we're trying to be too cute, trying to do too much, trying to show that we're better than everywhere else when we're for sure right now not. And even when we're at our best, we're probably top 3, but we're probably not the best. So just really weird right there. But again, turned into a touchdown. We get the ball back, and again, there's 4 minutes left. There's still a lot of time left. We actually now Zeke has to come back in the game, which is just ridiculous. 3-yard rush, 4-yard rush. We made him use 1 timeout, and then 3rd and 3. Again, this is what I was just talking about. 3rd and 3, 3 minutes left in the game. You could run the ball and make him use another timeout, whether you get it or don't. But you throw it, which I'd probably agree with because it's a 1-possession game. Where if you get this first down right here, like I'm assuming you have a play call for 3rd and 3 on a passing down that it's a go-to play. It turned out to be incompletion. This was a gallop slant on the left side. This play usually works, but the defender made a good play, got his hand in there and just forced an incompletion. That's just better defense, honestly. But I didn't mind the pass here. But again, you're not in this situation if you don't pass on 2nd down on the previous drive. So, I mean, that's the way I look at it, obviously. But had to punt, and again, they're getting the ball back with 3 minutes left. Heineke's out of the game at this point. I don't think I said it, but he was getting hit all day. Like I said, Gallimore with the sack, Micah with 2, Lawrence with 1, Gregory gets 1 right here on Kyle Allen, their backup. So Heineke was getting beat up all day, so he was out of the game. Kyle Allen's in. They're not thinking they're going to do much, but again, who knows? Maybe Kyle Allen gets a random drive, but he gets sacked from behind from Gregory. I thought it was a fumble in live action. I think they were thinking it was an incomplete pass, but they played it as a fumble. We picked it up and recovered it. So it's, no matter what, like if they were to review it and there would be a fumble, it would be our ball because we did recover it, successfully. And the ref saw it or whatever, but it could have been incomplete, could have been a fumble, but again, they ruled it a fumble, which I think was the right call because the ball, he was trying to throw it, but the ball slipped out of his hand when he was as he was going to throw it, not when he was throwing it. It was like just before he was coming in to throw it. So I think it was the right call. But then that's where the game ended. There's now 2.5 minutes left. They have 2 timeouts, I think, maybe 1 timeout, and it's over at this point. So, obviously we win the game. whatever, but just not an impressive win offensively. Defensively, a great game. 7 of those points don't even count because it was a pick six. And even that touchdown drive that got them to 14 or 13. No, I guess 14. Um, that's like I feel like every defense would give that drive up. It's the end of the game. You've been dominating them the entire game. They put together one drive. It's nothing really that crazy to be honest. But yeah, I mean, we win the game 27-20, like I said. We're 9-4. Now the division's over, in my opinion, unless we lose to the Giants and then we have to play Washington again and they beat Philly this week. Then I guess it's obviously that game still matters, but I'm assuming we're not going to lose to the Giants. Uh, Hopefully. I'm not going to guarantee anything, but um, yeah, I'm assuming to be 10-4. Excuse me, or the hiccups when we play um, Washington the next time, and after this week, and then yeah, I'm assuming to be 11-4 after that game. To be honest, and looking at the rest of the season after Washington, we play Arizona. They get the news today that DeAndre Hopkins is out for the season. So that could matter in that game. That's gonna be a big game because Arizona may not be the number. Right now they're the number 3 seed, but they may not be leading their division at that point. So that could be a big game for them. It could be a big game for us. Again, I do not want to be the 4 seed. I just don't want to play the best team out of the wild cards, which is, would be the Rams or the Cardinals. I don't want to play one of those teams because you don't have to play one of those teams. You could play a Washington, a Minnesota, or Fort, even though the San Francisco, I think, is better than all the other wild card teams, and they'd for sure be a tough matchup. It's easier than playing the Rams or the Cardinals, in my opinion. So I want to get the 2 or 3 seed. 3 seed honestly looks like the best case, but again, both Tampa and whatever it's called, Green Bay are both at 10 wins. So I guess honestly the best case, I don't even know what the best case. I guess the best case is that the Cardinals win the division, but we beat them when we play them head to head, and they don't have the best record. So that, like, assuming that our records match up, which it's for sure possible, we'd have the tiebreaker over them. So that, and I would assume that Green Bay and Tampa would have more wins than us. They already have a 1 game advantage. Obviously, Tampa already beat us, and again, Green Bay plays in an easier, they play in an easy division. So I would assume that those teams would be the 1-2, and hoping Arizona would still win the division, but would lose to us. Hopefully that works out so that Arizona would be the 4 seed. We'd most likely be the 3 seed, which means we'd play most likely the 49ers, which I would take. Like I said, I would take playing the 49ers. I think that's a good matchup for us. Definitely not an easy matchup, like I was just saying, but easier than playing the Cardinals/Rams in the first round. So yeah, that's the week 14 review of the game, recap of the game, and of the week, everything that's been going on. But we looked at week 15, we looked at the Giants. Like I said, I'll be at that game, so hopefully it's a win. I can go back next week and talk about a dominating performance. Again, Micah 12 sacks this year. Hopefully gets another one. Again, I don't think Daniel Jones is playing in this game. He didn't play the last 2 games. He was getting a second opinion on his neck. I would just assume that he's out for the season, to be honest. So if it's Mike Glennon, then I mean, that seems like a pretty good day for our defense. But I guess we'll have to see. But we still have to perform no matter what the team is. But yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. This week, I should say, in a dub, and yeah, hopefully we're 10-4 after this week. But I'll be back next week. Check out this channel, check out the main channel for our week 15. Looking into week 15. That should be up the next day or two, or next couple days, whenever this is uploaded. Honestly, but yeah, look into that. Look at our social medias as well. But yeah, thank you, and come back next week for the episode about the Giants. Thank you, and thanks for watching.